From speaking with a couple of people high up at Turning Point USA, they let me know that the injury took place right below the jaw in the C2. The bullet crashed through C2 all the way through C7. And then they found the bullet lodged in that meaty area around T1, the thoracic first vertebrae.
Confirmed, obviously, because I have connections, and I confirmed that the autopsy was done. I don't want to say too much, but the autopsy yielded where the entry wound was and how the bullet killed him. It's already been determined. They found the bullet lodged in his body. They can tell you exactly where, what was severed, what killed him, where the bullet traveled from his neck down through his body. They have it all, fragmentation of the round that spouted through his body. They have all of that investigated through an autopsy, and it's given over to the FBI. So they know exactly what happened to Charlie.
It's not an entry wound that we saw. We saw an exit wound. So where'd that bullet come from? You don't bleed like, and I've shot guys closer than the camera was. And an entry wound doesn't look like that. An exit wound does. Why did his shirt move the way it did? When I've shot people, their shirts didn't move like that. And then the initial reaction was, well, he was obviously wearing body armor and it was deflection. One, no. He wasn't wearing body armor. And two, it doesn't deflect like that off of body armor. Why was his shirt moving from right to left? Why were people being interviewed saying, yeah, they came from my left to right, from his right to left, immediately shut down?
The footage everyone thought didn't exist has finally surfaced. It's early morning in Cedar City, Utah. Less than 12 hours after the shooting that took Charlie Kirk's life, Tyler Robinson walks into a gas station. No panic, no rush, no signs of guilt. He swipes his card, fuels his car, and casually walks inside to buy a bottle of water. That short 23-second clip, now viral, has flipped the internet upside down. Because what you're about to hear might rewrite the entire timeline of this case. At first glance, you might think you're watching an ordinary customer, but zoom in, the posture, the stillness, the faint smirk when he looks at the camera. It's not fear, it's control. Investigators say the timestamp places him there roughly 8 hours after the shooting. Yet witnesses claim police were already circling the area. So the question burning through online forums right now is simple. How did he move so freely, if the state had already identified him as the killer? Some crime analysts describe it as post-event dissociation, a psychological numbness after trauma. Others think it's something darker, the behavior of a man who knew exactly what he was doing and knew exactly who was protecting him. But here's the part that most outlets aren't showing. A second angle, captured from the store's outdoor camera, appears to show a blurred figure inside a parked car, waiting. Freeze that frame. Zoom enhance. The shape looks feminine. The door opens halfway. Tyler glances once, nods slightly, and continues fueling. Coincidence or connection? Officials haven't commented, but online sleuths have already matched the blurred silhouette to the mysterious woman in the gray coat, rumored to have been near the scene hours before the murder. And if that connection is real, it means Tyler wasn't alone. When you think about it, that calm demeanor makes sense only if he believed he was safe. Someone else pulling the strings, someone else handling the cleanup. By the end of this video, you'll hear why one former agent now believes Tyler Robinson may have been used, and the person behind that gray coat might hold the key. Because the footage doesn't just show calmness, it shows control and maybe complicity. Every killer leaves a shadow, but sometimes that shadow breathes. Just days after the gas station footage went public, another rumor began spreading, one the FBI refuses to confirm or deny. Viewers slowed down the clip, frame by frame, and swore they saw her. A woman sitting in the passenger seat of a silver sedan parked beside Tyler's car. She's there for just 2 seconds, a reflection in the window, a glimpse of pale fabric. But those 2 seconds have reignited an entirely new theory. Tyler Robinson wasn't acting alone. Who is she? Some say she's the same woman in the gray coat, spotted on a neighbor's doorcam near Charlie Kirk's driveway hours before the shooting. Others insist she was never at the scene, that the image is a visual artifact, a trick of light. But here's the part that keeps investigators awake. That same type of car, same dents, same sticker, was reportedly caught by a city traffic camera 15 minutes after Tyler's vehicle left the gas station, headed north. If that's true, then whoever sat inside wasn't random. She was moving with him. Now think about the timing. By that hour, local police had already issued a BOLO for Tyler's car. How could a second vehicle matching the same color and model pass through 2 checkpoints unnoticed? Unless, and this is where the theory gets darker, someone inside the system knew and looked away. Former investigators call it a ghost assist, when an accomplice clears the route while the main suspect drives free. And there's another strange detail buried in the public affidavit: a female DNA trace found on the screwdriver linked to the weapons transport case. It was labeled inconclusive and quietly removed from the later press summaries. Coincidence? Maybe. But internet analysts are piecing together the timeline: gas station at 6:14 a.m., checkpoint bypass at 6:31, cell tower ping from a second phone ending just 4 miles from where Tyler was later captured. The metadata tells a story the official reports haven't. So was Tyler being helped or handled? Because if that woman existed, and if she really was there, watching him, guiding him, then the question isn't who pulled the trigger but who planned the stage. And in the next section, we'll step into the cracks of the prosecution's own story, the deleted texts, the mismatched timestamps, and why one expert says this entire case could collapse before it even reaches trial. Every story looks solid until you hold it up to the light. For weeks, prosecutors painted a clean timeline. Tyler Robinson planned the killing, drove to Kirk's home, pulled the trigger, and fled. But when experts started analyzing the evidence, that timeline began to crumble, one timestamp at a time. First, the text messages. The prosecution claims Tyler confessed motive through encrypted chats with his partner. Except the forensic report shows half those texts were created after the time his phone supposedly went dark. Data reconstruction or digital tampering? No one's saying. But a cybersecurity analyst told reporters, if even one message was altered, the entire chain becomes unreliable. Then there's the surveillance gap, a 47-minute window between the last known sighting of Tyler's car and the first highway camera detection. 47 minutes is enough time to meet someone, dump evidence, or receive instructions. Yet the official map jumps straight over it as if it never existed. And about that weapon case, remember the screwdriver with mixed DNA? The state lab's early draft listed 2 contributors, Tyler and an unidentified female. In the final report, that second trace was quietly marked contaminant. No explanation. No retest. Just gone. Former U.S. Attorney Mark Jensen called that move procedurally strange. He said, when evidence shifts categories mid-investigation, it usually means someone realized the story doesn't fit the evidence anymore. Even the ballistics don't sit perfectly. The bullet angle suggests the shooter stood lower than Tyler's measured height by at least 3 inches. That could be posture, or it could mean there was a second shooter. A stretch, maybe. But juries have overturned cases for less. Behind the scenes, legal insiders whisper that prosecutors are under pressure, public anger, political attention, national headlines. So instead of airtight proof, they're building what one analyst called a narrative of guilt. A story that sounds right until you start checking the math. And maybe that's why the defense just brought in 2 new attorneys, people who specialize in exposing timeline manipulation. Their first motion, to request the raw forensic backups the FBI hasn't released. If they find even one inconsistency in those logs, Everything the public believes could unravel. Because this isn't just about a crime anymore. It's about control, over evidence, over perception, over truth itself. When a case starts looking too perfect, one agent said off record, it usually means someone cleaned the edges. Coming up next, the final piece, the hidden agenda, who really benefits. A look at the silence, the leaks, and the mysterious people who may have used Tyler Robinson for something far bigger than revenge. Every murder has two stories, the one we're told and the one they never wanted us to find. When the courtroom lights dimmed and the cameras stopped rolling, a quieter war began, not over guilt, but over influence. Behind the Tyler Robinson case, new leaks are surfacing. On October 8, a whistleblower from inside the investigation hinted at something chilling. Tyler wasn't the only one under orders that night. What does that mean? According to leaked emails reviewed by independent reporters, a local developer, someone with deep political ties, had been in conflict with Charlie Kirk over a land deal just weeks before the murder. And Tyler, he worked part-time at a warehouse owned by a company linked to that same developer. Coincidence? Or connection? When detectives re-examined the GPS data, they discovered an unlogged detour Tyler's car took hours before the shooting, a turn leading to an abandoned construction site. No cameras, no witnesses. But the site's security logs show another vehicle there that night, a black SUV with tinted plates, registered to a shell company. If Tyler met someone there, one investigator whispered, he wasn't just acting alone, he was being used. And that brings us back to motive. Was this truly a personal act of rage, or a hired job, staged to look like one? Because if that's the case, someone wanted Charlie Kirk gone. Someone powerful enough to cover tracks, control headlines, and feed the public a story that ends just before the truth begins. Even now, as new court motions are filed, more questions than answers remain. Why did witnesses suddenly retract statements? Who paid for Tyler's first lawyer, the one who withdrew just before trial? And why do sealed documents keep disappearing from the county server? Maybe the real story isn't about murder. Maybe it's about who's writing the script. Tyler's next hearing could finally open those sealed files, or shut them forever. And when that happens, we'll know whether this was a tragedy or a setup. But here where you come in. Do you believe Tyler was manipulated, or that he acted alone? Was this revenge, or a contract killing covered in lies?